The legal battle over a Trump-era border policy known as Title 42 is far from over, and the outcome of this fight could have important implications for the crisis at the Texas-Mexico border. Joining us to break down where things stand is Eddie Carter, a constitutional law professor at Prairie View A&M. Dr. Carter, thanks for being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, and I'm privileged to be here.
Well, we're privileged to have you. This week, the Supreme Court essentially blocked the White House from lifting Title 42. So what is that? What are the implications of this essentially temporary decision, right?
Exactly. Title 42 is an interesting law. It really emerged from the context of World War II. It essentially allows the federal government, or gives the federal government, the ability to take emergency action in order to prevent the spread of communicable diseases in the nation that might find access via migration or immigration. More recently, President Trump invoked Title 42 in 2020 when the COVID pandemic began as a means really not so much of preserving public health, but really as some would allege an immigration policy, an effort to limit immigration policy. And so that's kind of the context from which Title 42 emerged.
And so we saw Title 42 about to be lifted. The Supreme Court put that on hold, kept it in place temporarily. So where does the battle go from here? Obviously, the court system, including the Supreme Court, not done with this, right?
It is not over with. They have made some rulings already. First of all, the Supreme Court issued a ruling in the Title 42 case. I guess we might call it a ruling of a sort. A federal judge in the U.S. Vacated Title 42, and as a result, things went before the Supreme Court and they vacated that. The court probably will hear oral arguments, or is scheduled to hear oral arguments in February. And at that time, the court will make a more final decision with regard to the applicability and the relevance of a Title 42 in the current context.
What do you think the implications would be if Title 42 is lifted? And when you look at immigration broadly, how much bigger is this than just this one issue?
It's a very broad issue. The debate essentially centers around the idea of is Title 42 a public health policy, or is Title 42 an immigration policy? The other problems that come about as a result of the potential suspension of Title 42 is that the argument is made there's going to be massive migration to the border states as a result of that suspension, and authorities will not be able to more as expeditiously force migrants back to their countries of origins. So some estimate as many as up to 18,000 migrants per day flooding into the nation on the suspension of Title 42. So there are some very, very practical implications for the border states on this matter.
Such a complex issue, so many ins and outs here, and we appreciate you breaking them down for us. Professor Eddie Carter, appreciate your insight. Always good to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. I always enjoy it.